so he's modern Orthodox, so he is quite happy that our service starts at 6:30, that he can be home before Shabbat to have dinner with his family. So yeah,
Perfect.
he was a little concerned about the timing. And so I said, no, you'll be, sometime during the service. So
Is it gonna be
everybody
virtual?
come support it. And we have a little treat for everybody after the service.
Oh, it's gonna be in person?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
Oh,
outside in
okay.
person. And we
Good.
have little pride cookies as
Yeah.
treats.
Oh,
Um,
I
we're
watched the service last night. Okay. And it seems like the dogs were barking along with all the singing.
They were. That was
It
the
was so
Friday
cute.
night.
I saw part of it.
It was Pet Shabbat. Absolutely.
Yes.
And oh, look, we have a pet joining us for adult enrichment.
Oh, hello.
Every service is pet services in the Schubert household.
Amen. Amen.
So I have started the recording. I'm going to mute everyone, and Cantor, please unmute. And I know you need no introduction, and full transparency, I'm reading it off the website, but this is your introduction. Whether you're hungry for music with an up-tempo beat or something mellow to stir your soul, Cantor J. O'Brien delivers it all. With a fine tenor voice equally suited to singing opera or show tunes, and that would be at the Muni in St. Louis. Cantor O'Brien appeals to Jews of many different demographics and denominations through his fusion of traditional, contemporary, folk, and classical musical genres in Jewish worship and communal life. His interfaith background and observant Jewish upbringing makes him an inspiring and compelling music teacher. And as a colleague, I can only thank him for all he devotes to Makom Sola Lakeside, his willingness to do new music, fun music. I adore the guitar. And today's topic is storytelling through Yiddish music. So we're all looking forward to it. So Cantor J, take it away.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And what a blurb. I can't believe how cool that sounds. And I hope I can deliver on all of that. So I wanted to start today by saying this: Shalom chaverim unbegrissen. Hello, friends, and welcome to our celebration of Yiddish music and culture through stories and songs. So this program is going to bring back some musical treasures from the past, favorite melodies that are from the old country, as well as Yiddish music that was composed right here in America. And these melodies are going to be familiar. They're also going to be new. So if you feel like you are familiar enough, you can sing at home. And if they're new for you, maybe you can look them up on YouTube afterward. There is so much out there. This is just a drop in the bucket. So together we're going to learn and laugh and just enjoy Yiddish culture. This amazing language and its way of being was almost extinguished by the Holocaust. But I think you'll get a sense from today that there is a Yiddish culture that is actually alive and well today. And this Yiddish music has actually played a very important part in something that we call the Yiddish Revival. So speaking of laughter, let me tell an old Yiddish joke. A Jew in Russia falls into a lake, and not knowing how to swim, he frantically screams, "Help me, save me!" His calls are totally ignored by everyone, including a whole bunch of soldiers who are standing by. So the Jew is getting really desperate, and he says, he shouts out with his last breath, "Down with the Tsar!" And immediately all the Russian soldiers snatch him up out of the water and haul him off to jail. So I tell this story because it's funny, and also because it describes a little bit of the Yiddish spirit. Smart, irreverent, expressive, a sort of determined spirit to stay alive no matter what. Rabbi Leo Abrami calls this laughing through the tears. But you're going to hear in our musical selections this morning that Yiddish music actually captures much more than just laughter and tears. We're going to hear folk songs. We're going to hear love songs. We'll also enjoy some drinking songs, some parodies, and really a whole lot more. This variety in the Yiddish music, it's emotive, it's complicated, it's even salacious. In other words, Yiddish music is a reflection of the lives of the people who spoke the language with a special sparkle. So I'm going to begin sharing some slides, and we'll just kind of hope all the technology works out well. Can everybody see the slides well enough?
Totally working out. It looks
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay, great. All right, so part one, and our program is going to be in 4 parts today, kind of around different themes and ideas. So a very important part of Yiddish music and culture is in this Jewish idea of Lador Vador, from generation to generation. And I want to share a story from my own upbringing. Long before cantorial school, I was just a little bacher who was lucky enough to go to Jewish sleepaway camp. And this camp actually had a very strong affinity for Yiddish folk songs. What made this even more remarkable is that this Jewish summer camp was in Carbondale, Illinois. Okay, so believe it or not, about 150 Jewish kids during summertime in Carbondale, Illinois, were singing Yiddish songs once upon a time. So our first piece of music is going to be the very first Yiddish song that I learned to sing. And it might actually be the first Yiddish song that a lot of others here on the call also learned to sing as well. And I'm actually, with the gift of technology, going to let my very own teacher of Yiddish music introduce this song. So I'm going to turn to my teacher, Ida Stack. Ida Stack, who was born Ida Henkin, was from Soviet Russia, and she was born in 1922. And her family left about 7 years after that because of anti-Semitism in Russia. Her and her husband, Norman Stack, moved to St. Louis, and Ida taught at a Reform synagogue called Sha'arei Emeth, and was a bar and bat mitzvah tutor, a preschool teacher, and also program director of the camp I went to. And she worked at that camp for nearly 50 years. So I am going to stop the slideshow and move to a video of Ida Stack teaching about this song.
Yeah, Jay, you have to share your sound. I don't hear anything.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So stop sharing and then just go back, and right before you're going to share, it says share sound.
Thank you.
Once again, after 2 years.
I know.
Those are my tidbits.
Okay, let me see. Oh no. Back to... I see. Well, here is the technology. It is back to get us.
I could hear the
Okay,
beginning of it.
You know, I'm almost there. Here we go. I don't know exactly where the screen I'm looking for went. Oh, apologies, everyone.
No worries.
Let's try this one.
Yeah. Or can you send me the link and then I can bring it up?
You know what? I will have it in just a minute.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
With MailChimp's marketing smarts, you get a whole lot of creative smarts.
Okay, I do believe that this will be it.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear?
So Jay, we can hear Cantor Jay, but I can't see it. I can't see I don't see a picture.
Okay.
But I definitely
All
heard
right,
it.
let me try. Okay.
Okay, once you enable your sound, you should not have to
Okay.
share the video.
Here we go.
Perfect.
This song was written by M.M. Warshawski around the early 1900s. It never got off the ground, and it hardly attained any degree of popularity until Shalom Aleichem, and those of you who have seen or heard Fiddler on the Roof understand that the whole Fiddler on the Roof was based on the stories by Shalom Aleichem. Well, at any rate, Shalom Aleichem included Afen Pripitchik in his anthology. Shalom Aleichem could do no wrong as far as the people of the shtetl were concerned. And so no sooner did this song appear in the anthology than it became one of the most popular songs in Eastern Europe. This is what it says. Afen Pripitchik brennt a Feuerl und in Stub is heiß. Und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinderlach, dem Aleph Beis. Und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinderlach, dem Aleph Beis. Zetje Kinderlach, gedenkt je Teiere, was ihr lernt do. Sagt je noch einmal und take noch einmal, kommet's Aleph O. Sagt je noch einmal und take noch einmal, kommet's Aleph O. Als ihr wird Kinderlach älter werden, wird ihr allein verstehen, wie voll in die Äußers liegen Tränen und wie viel Gewinn. Wie voll in die Äußers liegen Tränen und wie viel Gewinn. On the hearth there glow embers gleaming bright, spreading warmth and cheer. And the teacher shows his flock of little ones letters large and clear. And the teacher shows his flock of little ones letters large and clear. Listen carefully, children dear to me, 'tis the sacred law. Say it once and then repeat, repeat again. Comets Aleph O. Say it once and then repeat, repeat again. Comets Aleph O.
I am so confused. Okay, folks,
That was beautiful.
Okay, can you still hear a video playing?
No.
No.
No. Okay.
We can see you.
Okay, hold on a second. This is... Okay, for some reason, the video is actually still playing in my computer.
Oh,
It's playing behind you.
It's playing behind me.
Right. So what you want to do is just kind of move your screen away and close it.
Okay, I think I got it now. Thank you. All right. Well, so now we're going to move to another beautiful piece of music. This is a Yiddish song that comes from the Yiddish theater. This tells the story of a grown man who is remembering his past, the happy days of his childhood, in the shtetl of Belz. It was composed by a really popular songwriting team of Alexander Olashansky and Jacob Jacobs, who is the lyric writer. And what a great name, Jacob Jacobs. It was originally featured in a Yiddish theater musical, which is called The Cantor Son. And for those that don't know, our modern tradition in America of Broadway, the Broadway musical, in a large part developed out of the Jewish and Yiddish American theaters that were in New York City. So this is one of those beloved melodies from the Yiddish theater. And just wanted to also share a little bit of the lyrics of this as well. So just a moment. This is the song Mein Städtele Belz, and as you'll see, recalling the childhood years like a dream, it seems to me, how the little house looked and the sparkle of the lights. And the singer who's singing is talking to an old man who also knows the shtetl of Belz, and he asks, "Is the little tree I planted still there?" And the chorus goes, "Belz, my little town of Belz, where I spent my childhood and laughing with all the other children." And then the singer remembers Shabbos, where all of the children would sit under the trees by the river, and this was something like a dream. And the little house is old, and it's overgrown with moss, says the old man. The house is, there's no glass in the windows anymore. I'm not sure if you'd recognize the little shtetl of Belz. So in this song, we get a little bit of nostalgia and the passage of time, and I think you'll see that it's really captured quite beautifully in the music as well. So going to share a performance of this, which was recorded earlier in the week by Russell Stern and myself. And so we are blessed to hear this setting of Mein Städtele Belz. Der Zeil mir Lotter, der Zeil mir geschwind, will ich wie wissen, alles hat sie. Wie zahlt es doch Stiebe, was hat amol geglanzt, so blieb noch das Heimele, wie sich auf Farfland. Die Stiebel ist verwachsen mit Mochen groß, der Rotter ist zu fahl, der Fenster ohne Gluss, was kann ich kriegen, zu beugen die Wehen, du wirst doch schon mehr, gar nicht erkennen, der gar nicht ist kriegen, sie beugen die Wehen, das was
schon mehr gar niederkennt. Bald mein Städtele Bald, mein Himmel, wo ich hab meine kindische Jahren verbracht. Bald, mein Städtele Bald, in Orimen Stiebele mit alle Kinder noch dort gelacht. Jeden Schabbes pfleg ich laufen dort mit der Chine gleich, zu sitzen und unter dem grünen Bäumelein behindert Teich. Bald, mein Städtele Bald, mein Himmel, wo ich hab gehad, die Schöne ist verleumdes Asoch. Bald, mein Städtele Bald, mein Himmel, wo ich hab meine kindische Jahren verbracht. Bald, mein Städtele Bald, in Orimen Stiebele mit alle Kinder auch dort gelacht. Jeden Schabbes pfleg ich laufen dort mit der Chine gleich, zu sitzen und unter dem grünen Bäumelein behind dem Teich. Bald, mein Städtele Bald, mein Himmel, wo ich hab gehad, die schöne Verleumdes Asoch.
All right. And now we are going to move on to some. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay. All right. We're going to move now to some love songs. So this next section is about the really deep and rich tradition of poetry and love ballads that were composed in the Yiddish language. I think what makes these songs and these stories encapsulated in them so beautiful is their honesty. Instead of flowery language or superlative types of compliments that we might find in other languages of love poetry, Yiddish love poems are really about unguarded expressions of emotions. So our first song is going to be In Drosen is Finster. And this, as you can see, it means it is dark, it is late. And the folk song paints a really classic picture. The lover is singing to the beloved and beckoning the lover to join him or her outside in the beautiful evening. And you're going to hear these really sweet words are juxtaposed with minor chords, which is a real signature of Yiddish music, the kind of melancholy sound of the harmonies. Perhaps we can kind of understand from this juxtaposition and the way that the poem unfolds is that the lover's serenade might not be a success in this case. But you're going to still hear that there's a real aching and a tenderness to this song. So here's our translation. It's dark outside, it's late. There's not a hum or a stir of a bird on the street. Where have you been? Asks the lover. I want to be here with you. I want to be together. Come out into the evening, my sweet darling. I stand here waiting in the street. Come out so I can share a word with you. Your lovely face, your black little eyes, your sweet mouth and pretty white teeth. Where have you been? And we're going to be listening to a performance of a wonderful, wonderful vocal ensemble called the Nightingale Trio. It's an all-women vocal group devoted to studying and celebrating rich traditions of women's vocal music from Eastern Europe and the Balkans. So here is, and hopefully all of our audio sharing will go just fine. Here is In Drosen is Finster.
Drosen is finster, in Drosen is finster, sie spät bei Nacht. Man hat kein Schum, keine Schurch, kein Fegel fliehen auf der Gas. Man hat kein Schum, keine Schurch, kein Fegel fliehen auf der Gas. Ah, wo bist du gewesen? Will mit dir zur Welt reden. Ah, wo bist du gewesen? Will mit dir zusammen sein. Tokuma rois zu mir. Deines ist Genichte und warten was ich weiß, mit Verwurz. Ich stehe und warte was ich weiß, allein mit Verwurz. Komm, Gerois, will mit dir reden. Komm, Gerois, komm mit dir zusammen sein. Hoi, dein Schein von dir, mit deiner schwarzen Keotschkele. Oi, und dein Mäul mit deiner Scheide Weizenkezeh. Oi, und dein Mäul mit deiner Scheide Weizenkezeh. Ah, wo bist du gewesen? Will mit dir zur Welt reden. Komm, Gerois, will mit dir zusammen gehen. Zusammen gehen. Komm, Gerois, will mit dir zusammen gehen. Zusammen gehen.
Wow, isn't that beautiful? Yeah, and that's our Hebrew and our Yiddish culture being shared with all the world. Oh, again, I think. Just a moment.
Cantor J, that was beautiful. We don't often hear women. And so to hear the, oops, there we go.
Vanessa, we're having like slowly a meltdown.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But that was absolutely beautiful.
Yes, yes. Okay, we are now going to hear a another Yiddish love song, and this harkens back to simpler times. Back before, you'd call someone on the phone, even before emails and texting, there was, of course, the love letter. And this song, Papier ist doch weiß, is a love song that's kind of built around that act of putting pen to paper. And we can imagine the singer in this song is bent over a desk and maybe emotionally pouring out his feelings into a love letter. So here is the translation of this and the story that this song tells. Papier ist doch weiß. Paper is white and ink is black, and my heart is drawn to you, my sweet life. I could sit for 3 days just kissing your sweet face and holding your hand. And last night I went to this wedding and saw many pretty girls there. Many of them were pretty, but none compared to you, your beautiful black eyes and raven black hair. Your waist, your carriage, your noble way, a fire burns in my heart, but it can't be seen. There's nobody who can see how I'm burning. My death and life are in your hands. So you can hear the passion, and in a certain sense, we can maybe imagine that this love letter is really the only outlet for this person, for a love that may not be able to be. So here is another performance, again with our friend Russell Stern, and this is Papier is doch weiß.
Papier ist doch weiß und Tint ist doch schwarz. Zu dir, mein süß Leben, zieht doch mein Herz voll ständig gegessen, 3 Tage noch kuschen dein schön Boden und zu haben dein Haar. Nicht bei Nacht bin ich auf vergassene gewesen. Viel schöne Mädel hab ich dort gesehen. Viel schöne Mädel zu dir kommt nicht gar, zu deine schwarze Ägle, zu deine schwarze Haar. Dein Taille, dein Miene, dein edler Fasson. In Herzen brennt a Feier, messet es nit an, nicht so as a Mensch was, soll fühlen, wie es brennt, ner Tod und das Leben ist bei Gott in die Hand.
Thank you all. Thank you. It's so nice to be able to make music like that again. Hopefully we can all be together in the same room soon. Okay, so the next section of our program is going to be about moving forward. Moving forward. And you see the little Kinderlachen there. And you also see a Yiddish manuscript. That's because we're going to be talking about what's called the Yiddish Revival, and also ways in which Yiddish music and Yiddish culture kind of transformed when it made its way to America. So much like the popular stories that were mentioned by Ida Stack at the beginning of the program of Shalom Aleichem, much like that Yiddish writer who really raised the profile of Yiddish writing to a literary style, to a literary art form, around the turn of the century, a group of Jewish composers sought to raise the level of Yiddish music beyond folk songs, some of which we heard earlier, like Papier ist doch weiß and also often Pripyat. Those are folk songs. They kind of have a a repetition to the musical phrases. But there were composers in the 20th century who really sought to bring the classical style of music to the Yiddish language. So here we have really the most preeminent and arguably the most successful of these Yiddish music classical composers, who was Lazar Weiner. Lazar Weiner was born in Imperial Russia in 1897, and he moved to America at the age of 17. After he arrived in America, Mr. Weiner taught seminars in Yiddish art song at my alma mater, the Hebrew Union College, also the Jewish Theological Seminary, which is the conservative school, and also at the 92nd Street Y, which is a very, very famous and important arts and culture center, Jewish center on the Upper East Side. Mr. Weiner also served for 44 years as the music director of Central Synagogue in New York City, which is really a hub for a lot of music and culture in the synagogue world. So, Yiddish classical music, is that really a thing? Well, you get to decide for yourself. This next musical selection is one of Lazar Weiner's most intriguing Yiddish art songs. I think because of the way that it uses the French impressionistic musical style. If you're familiar with composers like Ravel, Maurice Ravel, you might hear some of those kind of sophisticated French sounds in this music. This song is called Das Gold von deine Augen, which means the gold of your eyes. And here's the translation. The gold of your eyes, silver of your voice, dazzling rays my vision has blinded. The faint breath of your stillness, your calm, profound, and strong have silently fettered my hands. Your timid, trembling charm, youth now red, now pale, with tenderness has crushed my heart. Ardent is your love, ardent is your hate, and they've sweetly drained my blood. So this is a very sophisticated style of poetry, and it's really matched beautifully with a sophisticated style of musical language. So we're going to hear Das Gold von deine Augen. This is performed by, you guessed it, Cantor J and Russell Stern.
Das Gold von deinen Augen, das Silber von dein Kohl, hat mich mit Eisenstrahlen geblendet. Der Atem von dein Schweigen, dann starke tiefe Ruhe, hat mich war still gebunden die Hand. Nein siegerige Zäube, nein Jugendreut und Glas, heut noch ein Reis gezeugt in mein Hart. Der Feier von dein Liebe, das Feuer von dein Haus, hat sie Sarais gezeugen mein Blut.
All right. We are now going to take a look at another side of this so-called Yiddish revival. While Lazar Weiner was composing those Yiddish classical songs, A whole other kind of Yiddish music scene was unfolding in the village of New York and also in Brooklyn. This was sparked by klezmer bands such as Andy Statman, the Klezmer Conservatory Band, and later arrivals such as the Klezmatics. And by the 2000s, Jewish young people in their 20s and 30s were actually buying albums and going to shows of Yiddish music. This generation aged and they took that interest in Yiddish culture with them into universities and into arts and culture scenes of the 2010s. And then with the arrival of social media, this music, of Yiddish culture was suddenly available to everyone. So our next performers will attest that time can only tell where Yiddish music is going. Here is Little Pinya and Little Dina. They're performing a delightful folk song called Bulbis, which is about how everyone in the shtetl ate bulbis, which are potatoes. They ate potatoes for breakfast, they ate potatoes for lunch, and they ate potatoes for dinner. So we are going to hear them sing this Yiddish folk song, Bulbis. Hey! Isn't that adorable? Yeah, that's a very fun song. And so bulbus, if you learned one thing today, you learned how to say potato in Yiddish, bulbus. Okay, we are now going to go to our final section of our program. Part 4, turning oi into joy. It's a very, very good saying. And this part of the program is trying to make the case that Yiddish music doesn't just belong in museums or in Holocaust memorial programs. Wherever Jews are sharing food, friendship, and fun, a Yiddish song can always be sung. For that reason, I'm going to need your help with these next few. This is a sing-along medley. Okay, so we're going to project the Yiddish words of these songs onto our screens, and everyone's invited to sing along. The first song is called A Room Dem Fire. It's a Yiddish campfire song. The next one is called Un Az der Rebbe, and that is a parody song showing that whatever the Rebbe does in the shtetl, all the Hasidim do times 10. They take it to the next level. Okay, and of course, it wouldn't be a Yiddish music program without Tum Balalaika. This is a lively love song with questions and answers. So let me get my guitar, and we are going to sing together a few Yiddish songs. Okay. Okay, can you guys still hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, starting with Arum Dem Fire. Arum dem Fire, wir singen Lieder, die Nacht ist teuer, sie ist jeden Liebe, und sollt us Feier verloschen werden, scheint auf der Himmel mit seiner Stern. Verkreunt die Nacht, mit Blumen tanzen, Arum dem Feier, wir wollen tanzen, wir tanzen, singen, ist unser Leben, der noch in Schlaf, Halloimes Beben. Verkreunt die Nacht mit Blumenkranzen, Arum dem Feier, wir wollen tanzen, wir tanzen, singen, ist unser Leben, der noch in Schlaf, Halloimes Weg. As der Rebbe und as der Rebbe schlingen alle Chassidim, schlingen alle Chassidim, und as der Rebbe und as der Rebbe schlingen alle Chassidim, und as der Rebbe und aus der Rebbe schlingen alle Chassidim, und als der Rebbe trinkt, und als der Rebbe trinkt, gissen alle Chassidim, gissen alle Chassidim, und als der Rebbe trinkt, und als der Rebbe trinkt, gissen alle Chassidim, und als der Rebbe trinkt, und als der Rebbe trinkt, gissen alle Chassidim, und als der Rebbe tanzt, und als der Rebbe tanzt, springen alle Chassidim, springen alle Chassidim, und als der Rebbe tanzt, und als der Rebbe tanzt, springen alle Chassidim, und als der Rebbe tanzt, und als der Rebbe tanzt, springen alle Chassidim. Steht der Bocher, steht und tracht und tracht a ganze Nacht, Leben zu nehmen und nicht verschämen, Leben zu nehmen und nicht verschämen. Tumbala, tumbala, tumbala laika, tumbala, tumbala, tumbala laika, tumbala laika, spiel balalaika, tumbala laika, freilich so sein. Mädel, Mädel, ich will bald die fragen, was kann wachsen, wachsen und nur regen, was kann brennen und nicht aufhören, was kann denken, weinen und tränen, tumbala, 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 laika, tumbala, 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 laika, tumbala, laika, spiel balalaika, tumbala, freilich so sein. Narrische Bocher, was dort zu fragen, was kann wachsen, wachsen und regen, Liebe kann brennen und nicht aufhören, ein Herz kann denken, weinen und tränen, tumbala, 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 laika, tumbala, 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 Balalaika, spiel Balalaika, du Balalaika, fröhlich soll sein. All right, thanks for helping out, everybody. So, we have one more song that we're going to share, and it's one of my very favorites. Let me tell you about this song. This last piece of music was composed by a Yiddish theater star named Aaron Lebedeff. Aaron was an interesting and colorful character. After dropping out of school at a very young age, Aaron began to work around the shtetls and towns in the Pale of the Settlement as a comedian and as a singer. Then Lebedeff found himself in the same situation as many other Jewish men in his time. He was pressed into the Tsar's army for World War I. After the war, he wandered as far as Japan and finally made his way to America in the 1920s, becoming one of the most iconic stars of that Yiddish American musical theater circuit. At the age of 61, Lebedeff was questioned by a newspaper reporter about the secret of his success. He said, "You have to dress well, you have to eat and drink whatever you love, and you always have to stay in love." Perhaps Lebedeff is best remembered for this iconic song, Romania, Romania. To put it nicely, this song is as colorful as the personality of its composer. It tells the story of a man gleefully reminiscing about his days in Romania, days full of wine, women, and of course, pastrami sandwiches. And so we are going to share another performance with the help of Russell Stern. And just as a quick word, this has really, really been a joy to share this Sunday morning with you all. This is our last piece of music, and there's a lot more Yiddish music out there. We could do another program at some other time, but it's fun to share this. And again, this is Romania, Romania.
Romania, 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 Romania. Giving a mola land as is a shame. Romania, 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 Romania. Giving a mola land as is a feine. Not zu weinen ist a Vergnügen, was du's Holz grüß dir, das kennst du kriegen. A Mammeligele, a Pastramele, a Karnatzele, und a Gläsele Wein. In Romania ist doch geht, von kem deiges weiß man nicht. Wein trinkt man nicht überall, wer verweist wie Kastaval. Hei digi digi dam, digi 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 dam, hei digi digi dam, digi digi dam, hei digi digi dam, digi 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 dam, hei digi digi dam, digi digi dam, hey! In Romania ist doch geht, von kem Sorgen wäsch min mit. Wein trinkt man überall, mehr verweist wie Kastravet. Hei digi digi dam, digi 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 dam, hei digi digi dam, digi digi dam, hei digi digi dam, digi 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 dam, hei digi digi dam, digi digi dam, hey! Oi, Weg wollt ich wärme schiege, ich lieb nur Brines meine Liege, tanzen freilich bis der Stille, wenn ich es verklotschele. Sing ma, dei Diddly-Lam, sing ma, dei Diddly-Dam, sing ma, dei Diddly-Dam, sing ma, dei Diddly-Dam. Ein süßame Chaie besser kann nicht sein, ei vergehen nigen ist nur im meine Schwein. Die Rumäne trinkt Weinen, es am Mame liege, wer ich gut sein, ich weib, jener es me schiege. Sing ma, dei Diddly-Lam, sing ma, dei Diddly-Dam, sing ma, dei Diddly-Dam, sing ma, dei Diddly-Dam. Als es am Chaie besser kann nicht sein, ei vergenigen ist nur Rumäne Schwein. Oh, oh,
Thank you all
That
so
was
much.
gorgeous. Oh, it was wonderful.
Bravo.
Amazing.
What a great
What a way
Sunday
to start
morning.
a Sunday. What?
After donating blood, what a great balance.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Jay,
Oh,
you're
man.
amazing.
You have to look at the chat, although I did quickly learn how to save it so I can send it to you.
It was
Um,
wonderful. It was
Thank you
wonderful.
all so
Thank you
much.
so much.
What a beautiful, beautiful morning. And I think you know me well enough, Cantor J, that I have a long memory. And when you said you have part,
I know.
I'll be coming to you shortly for part 2. It was
Oh,
just so
okay.
beautiful. And please tell Russell we thank him. I'll send him a thank you tomorrow as well. It was just a great morning. I feel ready to get out. We have some lovely mentions in the chat about the klezmer band that we've had, and some of our children, now adults, participated. So this is just the beginning. What a great introduction to Yiddish music, and it's great seeing everyone this morning. So thank you, Cantor J. And if you have an appointment, go donate blood at Macomb Salel Lakeside, and we'll talk to everybody. We'll see you. Watch your email. If you need anything, email me.
Fabulous morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Vanessa.
Thank you. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you,
Bye,
Russell.
everybody.
Wonderful,
Enjoy the
Jay.
day.
Hi, thank you. Happy
Yes.
Sunday.
Best day.
Bravo.
Thank
So
you.
everyone.
Bravo, bravo.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Have a great day,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.
Too.